is my place, and I am welcome.
Be inspired as Sheila shares with us the amazing news about sovereignty.
Wonderful. And I'm just going to concentrate here for a second while I get my video shared and started, or get my screen shared and started. There we are. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. It is such a joy and privilege to be here. And yes, sovereignty, unity principle number 2. I don't know whether this surprises you, but it certainly surprised me. And Sawabona, this is me setting intention to reach across space and time to connect with you, heart to heart, mind to mind, and that one power and presence that we are each a unique expression of, so that we come together to co-create this moment in time together and make it sacred, make it special, make it meaningful. And if that resonates with you, I invite you to respond with Yabo Sawabona. And that just completes the circuit. So way back in January, if you were involved in a Unity Church at all, you probably did a white stone ceremony. And the white stone ceremony is the new year where we, from a meditative state, allow a word to come to us that will inform or influence or that we carry into the new year. And for me, that word was sovereignty. And aside from being a word that I had no hope of spelling right, I considered sovereignty to be a lofty, snobbish, secular word associated with royalty, material world power, control, and politics, all things that felt really quite irrelevant to me. And so sitting there staring at it and hearing it, it's like, okay, what do I do with this? And, you know, I trust that Spirit will reveal the relevance of this word to me. And I don't know whether it's, and I forget the name of the effect, where when an idea is put into your head, all of a sudden you start manifesting it everywhere. I don't know whether it was that effect that took place, or whether sovereignty is a word that really is coming up more and more in discussion, in the media, in life generally around us. I know it certainly did for me. And what I have found, much to my surprise, is that it really is a spiritual word. You know, like when we think of spiritual words, the words that kind of come to mind, at least for me, are things like peace, truth, love, faith, forgiveness. And yeah, now I put sovereignty right in there with them, with the recognition that it is a growing and evolution of our spiritual journey. It's what we're growing into. And let me explain what I mean by that. I found that it really is like a drop in a ripple of the pond that just keeps expanding, in the same way that, you know, around Christmas, we look at faith and we look at peace, we look at love, and we do sort of a deep dive into them and find that, well, you know, on a day-to-day basis, you go, oh yeah, peace, I know what peace is, you know, and you have some idea of that. But when you really meditate on it, when you really chew on it, when you really sink into it, you realize that it's got nuance and it opens and peels back like an onion or a lotus. And sovereignty does the same thing. And it comes with all its gifts, blessings, and baggage as well. So let's just cover off the spelling thing right off the top. I found that trying to remember how to spell it was really tough until I realized that the last part of it is really the number 80. And I can spell the number 80, E-I-G-H-T-Y. And if you just squash the H a little bit, like knock off the top bar, then and sound out the first couple of syllables. So sov, S-O-V, E-R, those are both kind of intuitively, obviously. obvious. And then 80 is really 80 with the squashed H. So I can spell sovereignty now. Go figure. 8, fascinating number. Metaphysically, depending on your background, 8 can be interpreted as infinity. If you turn it on its side, it really is the infinity loop, a two-dimensional representation of the torus. Biblically, it's also associated with rebirth and the ascension or the resurrection of Jesus. It's also associated with material success, and that comes through the lineage of the zodiac and various other Eastern religions. So there really is a lot of rich pieces to that. And as we know from looking at 40, the 0 on things is just an exclamation mark. So this really is, you know, infinity, rebirth, material wealth and success on steroids in a big way. And so you put that with that, like, into the word of sovereignty, and you start to get a feel for how there might be more to the word than we initially thought. Why is my screen not advancing? Okay. So what does sovereignty mean? It means supreme power or authority. Biblically, sovereignty was given to God. God is the all-powerful ruler. God, all power lies with God, and God is the be-all and end-all, and the buck stops there. But when we recognize that we are a child of God, we are a spark of that divine presence, we recognize that we too carry that authority and that power within us. It means having self-governance. We have the ability, we have the power to govern ourselves and our life and all the components thereof. Dominion. The very first book of the Bible, Genesis, the creation process is described, and God gives man dominion over the earth and all the fish and the birds of the air and so on and so forth. And that story has been misinterpreted to mean that we can run over and do what we will with everything. And I think that really is metaphysical malpractice and a misunderstanding of that teaching. And dominion is really about giving us stewardship and giving us responsibility and giving us opportunity. Sovereignty can also be interpreted as independence, or freedom. And we recognize that both of these things are important for us to claim if we're truly going to grow into our divine nature, grow spiritually. So unity principle number 1 is one power, one presence, the one wholeness. And unity principle number 2 is we are each a unique expression of that oneness. So another way of saying unity principle number 2, yes, just like everybody else. Important caveat, because as sovereign beings, it's important to recognize that we're not sovereign over everybody else. We're sovereign over our own domain, over ourselves. And everyone else is sovereign over themselves. Important distinction. Another way of phrasing that principle number 2 is that we are each a sovereign being. And what that sovereign being comes with is the 12 powers as identified by Charles Fillmore. And one of those is the power of divine will. And what divine will is, and there's ways of applying it, you know, in a positive way, and there's ways of applying it in painful ways. And often we associate it with will being our ability to, willpower, force things through, push it through, make it happen, do whatever it takes. And my experience has been that is generally doesn't work out so well. What we really want is the willingness, and our power of will is really about our ability to choose, our ability to decide, to make a decision, and our ability to commit. So it's making the decision and making that decision solid to stick with it. And we can apply our other powers to that too. We can add strength to that. We can add faith to that. All of our 12 powers work interconnected. We can integrate all of those powers. So whose responsibility is my life? Given what I've just said, we recognize that our life is our responsibility, nobody else's. And as much as it can feel like other people control our lives, you know, whether it's spouse or boss or kids or job or pets or circumstances or weather or government or policies, or like the list is pretty long of things that we can hand our power over to, but ultimately it all comes back to here. It all comes home. We are responsible for our own life. So we get to consider who or what is running our own life. And I invite you just to take a couple of minutes now to think about, you know, who is running my life? And am I, you know, farming out that responsibility to someone else? Do I let a partner make my decisions for me, or do I require a guru to make those decisions for me? Am I checking my brain at the door when I listen to a guru, or listen to the news, or listen to a government spokesperson, or listen to the boss? Where the invitation to hand over our power to any number of people is always out there, like baited hooks. And we get to choose which ones we bite on. We can also choose to give ourselves power so that we can ask questions out there, we can consult out there, and consulting, you know, with others who have more experience or who have skills that we don't have is awesome. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to manifest and create, is the right person to ask in the right moment, or the right person to give us the right piece of information or help us with whatever. Those are wonderful, wonderful things. But it's important not to turn over our life to those other things, but allow those other things to inform us, and we come to our own decision. And coming to that own decision, in the past week, I've come to awareness of how I very much often make decisions in my head. In fact, I kind of live a lot from here to here. And I thought I was embodying choice and embodying decisions, but I had the experience of really embodying things, and boy, does it feel totally different. And my invitation to you is to, you know, just lean in and be open to the possibility of, I don't know what I don't know, and maybe there's more here for me. Maybe there's a way that I can step into my sovereignty, claim my domain, live into my sovereignty in a richer, deeper, you know, spiritually awakened, evolved way that is new to me. So let's look at, what does claiming divine sovereignty not look and feel like, just to get that kind of out of the way. It doesn't look like blame. It doesn't look like shame. It doesn't look like guilt or fear or worry or criticism or bullying or forcing or frustration or overwhelm or manipulation or needing things or people or circumstances to be any different than what they are. Claiming our sovereignty doesn't mean that we can control what happens to us. It doesn't mean that we control the circumstances, the outside of us. It means being present to them and being responsible for how we respond to them. So what does claiming divine sovereignty look and feel like? It feels like love. It feels like acceptance. It feels like alignment with the truth of our being, with that Christed presence within us. It feels like peace. It feels like confidence. It feels like knowingness and assurance. It feels like authenticity. Sovereignty is remembering who and what we really are. It's remembering. It's bringing back all of our scattered pieces that are out minding other people's business. And whether that's minding other people's business as in, siblings or friends or children or parents or whatever, it's also out there minding the jobs and business of our policymakers and our news media and anything where we are scattering our energy. It's really about calling all of those pieces of ourselves back home to our own personal wholeness and asking ourselves, what is mine to do from here? It's stepping into and claiming our power and the truth of our being over our own domain. It's being the servant leader. So it's not about trying to micromanage our body. It's not about trying to micromanage our relationships. It's about listening deep and responding from a space of grounded love. It's about compassion and respect for ourselves and for others. And it really is a new way of being for each of us and a new way of being for humanity as a whole. It's being willing and not willful. What is our domain? Our domain is our thoughts, our feelings, our physical form, our immediate environment, our home, our work, our tasks, our staff. All of those things are the things that we're responsible for. And we get to be in relationship with them. It's about going back to that idea of servant leader. It's about recognizing that, yes, I have sovereignty over this, I have control over this, but it's not about me dictating and telling my organs, telling my cells how to do their job. It's about me listening to what they need and facilitating them as they go about their task. It's not about me dictating what my immediate relationships look like. It's about me listening deeply so that I make the asks of what I need to meet my needs, giving myself the permission to need and desire, and also to recognize the needs and desires of those that I'm in relationship with, so that it becomes a negotiation process, and recognizing that if it's not good for one, it's not good for any, because there is only one great wholeness. And so again, the learning how to handle those negotiations and to be present and to listen deep and to listen for the solution that meets all needs. New way of being. And it is the sovereignty we're being called to. If I don't like my life, it's up to me to change it. And I cite, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore really stepped into their power and their sovereignty when they went ahead and built a ministry on prosperity in the middle of the Depression through the 1930s. Like the rest of the world is saying, poverty is the end thing. This is what we are and what we're doing. And they're going, no, prosperity is the truth of my being. And they claimed it and they stepped into it. Jesus in his choice to surrender to spirit to go through the transmutation, transformation, ascension, death, resurrection, ascension process to model for us that there is life after death, to put an end to the whole, you have to pay for sins thing. It's like, no, I've done that. We're good to go. Like, let go of that whole eye for an eye thing. Let it be all paid for. Let it be all done. He did that. He was able to do that through claiming his own sovereignty and stepping into the truth of his being. And his invitation is for us to do the same. Not that we have to follow in death and suffering. That wasn't the model he was trying to teach. It often gets presented as, oh yes, we all need to martyr. And it's not. It's about, no, we all need to be true to our authentic self and answer the call of our soul to what our soul is calling us to. And people around the world are being called to that. That's the mass resignation where, so many people over the last 6 months have come to realize that, with that shutdown of COVID and so forth, that running the treadmill I've been running isn't working for me anymore. I'm willing to downsize. I'm willing to let go of the job that's demanding too much or isn't nourishing my soul. And I'm willing to give that up to create the life that I want to live. So how do we, make those changes? We get clear on what we want and we ask and we align and we take action. And that doesn't mean act as in force it through and make it happen. It means taking the next step as it appears on the path in front of us. It's much gentler than the past paradigm has been. Allow it in, accept the next step as they're presented. And then the awe of gratitude and wonder as the life that we want to live appears for us. And how do we claim that sovereignty? How do we step into all these wonderful things? It really is about embodying that higher aspect of ourselves. And so I invite you now to join me in a meditation. Oh, right before I do that, I wanted to share a little piece that came across in an email today, that just as a preamble to the meditation. I am done with, and I invite you to let my words be the words of your own heart. Just allow them in as much as you're able. I am done with pretending that I am smaller than I am, done with pretending that I am broken somehow. I am ready to claim my wholeness. I am ready to speak my truth. I am ready to trust the impulse that runs through my veins. I am ready to forgive fully. I am ready to forgive everyone. I am ready to forgive myself for forgetting how exquisite I truly am. I am ready to walk in beauty. I am ready to own my light. I am ready to be seen in all that I am. I am ready to stop apologizing for my humanity. And maybe it's only me, but that one hits big. I am ready to stop apologizing for my humanity. That's my mistakes, my imperfections, all of it. I am done playing by someone else's rule. To someone else's game, I am done playing by someone else's rule to someone else's game. I am ready to play my own game. I am ready for a life that thrives. I am ready to make my own rules to live by. I am ready to live in pleasure. I am ready for joy. I am ready for my joy. I am ready for abundance. I am here to live the highest of my life. I live in trust. I walk in abundance. I share freely. I risk wholeheartedly. I express my fullness. I am alive. I am alive. I am. I am. I am. I am the one I thought I was waiting for. And so with that, I will end my share, and I invite you just to Feel into your body, gently close your eyes if that's comfortable, and prepare for meditation.
I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this day, I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace, inside there is joy, inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God.
So I trust that you're settling in, feeling the support of your chair, feeling the support of the ground beneath you. I invite you to allow your breath to deepen, sink into your heart even more. I invite you to let my words be the words of your own heart. I give thanks to my ego, for it is my ability to be here in physical form. It is the game piece in which I play the game of life. I thank it for all it has tried to do for me. And I ask it to take a rest. I assure it that it will be fine. And I turn inward, looking for that other part of me, that still small voice, that part of me that is more me than I knew could be me. And I invite it forward I feel the love that it has for me, for all aspects of me. And I open. I allow myself to open like the lotus, gently, easily, in perfect order. No forcing, no rushing, just allowing. And I set intention to claim my sovereignty and come into deeper understanding and awareness of what that means. I open to the idea that it doesn't have to be difficult, it can be easy. It can be gentle. Again, gentle as the gentle opening of a flower. I feel the light dawning in my heart in a new way. Expanding along my spine, the core of my being. I feel the strength. I feel the awakening of the energy centers within my body. I feel the stirring of those innate powers that I know I am born with. I exercise that divine power of will by choosing love, by choosing alignment with this higher truth of my being, by choosing to seek it out. And I invite us to stay in the silence now for a few moments to experience our individual expressions of all of it. I open to the possibility that I can live from this space more and more frequently, more and more consistently. And I have compassion for myself when I don't. I have compassion for all others as they awaken at their own pace in their own way. I honor the sovereignty of all. And I embrace the challenge of figuring out what that means. In loving gratitude for this time together, both inward and outward, celebrate and say Amen. Returning to space and time we again hear the words of the song of Daniel, or whatever beautiful voice is there for us to share. Amen.
Thank you so much, Sheila. That was truly fascinating. I just love